Good morning, students. I hope that you people are watching my video lectures, which is helpful for your as a CBSE and MCQ examinations. Okay, so far we discussed chapter 3 and 4, and that previous lectures we finished chapter 5 also. Now we are going to start the another chapter. As per NCERT order, it is chapter number 6, electromagnetic induction. What, children? Electromagnetic is induction. An important concept in physics is electromagnetic induction, and more weightage in exam point of view also. The first what we are going to discuss is what is magnetic flux. In the previous lesson we discussed what is magnetic flux, pi b, the total number of magnetic field lines passing through the given area is called as magnetic flux. So let us consider there will be some external magnetic field present in some region. You consider some imaginary closed area. Imaginary what, children? Closed area. So the area vector is outward normal, we know that, and this is angle theta. This is angle what, children? Theta, the angle between magnetic field and the area vector. Okay, yes. Now the magnetic flux can be defined as a d pi or integration of d pi, or we can write that as to be total flux pi b. Pi b means is a magnetic flux. Okay, that is a line in surface integral of b vector dot what, children? dA vector, or we can write that pi b is equal to, or the same can be written as integral, surface integral of bdA cos theta. bdA what, children? Cos theta. Yes, where dA is the area of the smaller portion. Okay, so or we can write that pi b is equal to b vector dot a vector or ba cos theta after evaluating that integration. Yes. So this is the basic definition for magnetic flux. Yes, the unit is as we discussed earlier, that the unit is Weber, and it is a scalar quantity. It is what, children? Scalar quantity. And moreover, if there are n number of turns, if n turns are there in a closed coil or any closed surface, if we consider n number of turns, then the total flux pi is equal to pi total, that is equal to n times of the flux linked with the single loop, that is n into ba cos theta, n into what, children? Ba cos theta. So this is the small or brief explanation about the magnetic flux definition, which is required for the further discussion of the content. Now please see that the second one what we are going to discuss is what is called EMI. What is called EMI? The phenomenon of producing induced EMF or voltage or induced current when the magnetic flux linked with the closed coil or loop will changes. That is called what, children? Yes, electromagnetic induction. Yes, the phenomenon of producing induced EMF whenever the magnetic flux linked with the closed circuit changes. That is called what, children? EMI. This is the definition. This is the definition for that. I said in a statement, better you can note it down. Okay. So the third one what we are going to discuss is on what basis Faraday is stated his laws. So before going to the Faraday's law, we can say that Faraday's experiment. Faraday's what, children? Experiment. Yes, from the experimental observations only, Faraday formulated some important laws. The first one, experiment 1. So what it says, very simple, a very simple concept. There should be a change in magnetic flux. That is the condition what we need. So experiment 1, what it did is, he makes the relative motion. There is a relative motion. There is a relative motion between coil and the magnet. Between coil and the what, children? Magnet. This is the first experiment based on this concept. So let us consider a circular coil or a loop will be there, a metallic loop. and the bar magnet, either it is moving towards or away from the magnet, so away from the coil. So whenever there is a relative motion, whenever there is what children, relative motion between the coil and the magnet, then due to that relative motion, the magnetic field lines passing through the coil gets changes. So due to that, when magnetic field change, the flux value also get change. So this results some induced EMF or current in the as a closed circuit. Yes, that is the first experiment based on relative motion between the coil and the bar magnet. And second, what he did is experiment 2 is what he did is, instead of bar magnet, he is taking another coil. We know that yes, whenever current is passing through the coil, yes, there will be a magnetic field exists in it. Yes, that is the concept we completely discussed in chapter 4, magnetic effect of electric current. So now what happens means is, if from this we are sending some current through this coil, and which will produce its own as a magnetic field along its axis, along its what children, axis, this coil will produce the magnetic field. Say for example, the magnetic field is in this direction, yes, when current is passing through that. Yes, when there is a relative motion between the current carrying coil and the loop, yes, so there is a relative motion. So there is a relative motion. So relative motion. Yes, relative motion means either one is at rest, another one is motion, or this is at rest, this one in motion, or both are in motion, such cases. Okay. So the second experiment is based on the concept of relative motion between the coils, between the what children, coils. In that one is current carrying coil and another one is what children, just a closed conducting loop, otherwise just like a copper wire made as a circular loop. Yes, this is the experiment 2. And the third one is, the third case is, yes, there is a relative motion, the coil may come or going away from each other, and whenever the direction changes, there will be a change in a direction of the induced current. Yes, because of the sign changes in the magnetic flux value. The experiment 3, so the third experiment, what the third experiment says means, you are just fixing the, yes, there is no relative motion between the coils, but you are just simply changing the current in the circuit. So therefore, this is the coil 1, for example, this is the current carrying coil. But now there is no relative motion between the coil and the magnet. Yes, so there is no there is no motion, no relative motion, but there is a change in current in the coils. There is a change in current in the coil. So when the current change in this coil, then what will happen? The magnetic field produced by the current carrying loop also gets changed. So this is the magnetic field produced by this current carrying loop, and that also gets what children, gets changed. So here no relative motion, there is no relative motion, there is no relative motion, but we are getting what children, but we are changing the current, but we are changing the but we are changing the current value, changing the what children, current value. Due to that, when current changes, magnetic flux also, field will change, and the magnetic flux linked with this coil also will change, which results the induced EMF or current. Okay, so these are the three important experimental demonstration to understand the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Now we are going to state the very important one, that is Faraday's laws. What children? Faraday's laws. So what Faraday's law says means, the statement 1, the law 1 or statement 1, we can say that whenever there is a change in magnetic flux, there will be existence of induced EMF or current. In simple point, I can write that if there is a change in magnetic flux, if there is a change in magnetic flux, it results either EMF, electromotive force, or simply voltage. So electromotive force or voltage, or it may produce the induced current. It is produced what, children? Induced current. I am just writing in a simple format to avoid the lengthy writing process. Okay. So the first law says that whenever there is a change in magnetic flux linked with the closed loop or any circuit or coil, either EMF will gets induced or current gets induced. When in what situation EMF will be exist, in what situation current will exist means, this is the important thing you must keep in mind. When the loop is closed, both will exist. That means EMF will exist as well as induced current also will exist, because it is a closed circuit. But when the loop is open, and the loop is that the coil is open, yes, it may be a closed loop like this. Okay. Yes, in this case, as closed means we can get both the induced EMF and the induced current. But if it is open like this, just a open, yes, such type of arrangement is there, then we can say that in this case, since the circuit or loop will be open, there is no flow of current, but we can say that there is a EMF. So in this case, EMF will be non-zero, but induced current will be what, children? 0. So when the loop is open. So that is the main difference between these two cases. So this is the statement of the first law. Whenever there is a change in magnetic flux linked with the closed loop or circuit, there exists a induced EMF or current. Okay, that is the statement of the first law for the Faraday's laws. So the second one is the Faraday's second law. So second law. So the second law we says that this is the qualitative. The first law gives the condition when we can get the induced EMF or current, but the second law says how to measure the EMF value, the quantitative measurement of the induced EMF. Yes. So it says that the magnitude of the induced EMF is equal to rate of change of magnetic flux. Rate of change of what, children? Magnetic flux. If it is instantaneous, that means if the pi value depends on time, then we can use d pi by dt, or the same can be used, that has to be delta pi by delta t. Yes, delta pi by delta t, when the flux changes, it is constant, but it is changing with respect to time. So initially it is 5 Weber, after some time it will be 10 Weber, like that. But in this case, it may be depends on the variable. For example, pi is equal to 3t square plus 2t plus 1. So in this case, it depends on the time value, the value of flux may change. So that type of instantaneous flux variation, we can use d pi by dt. The average flux variation, we can use delta pi by delta t. So where delta pi is nothing but final minus initial. Final minus what, children? Initial. The change in difference in final flux minus initial flux value. Yes. So that is the statement of the second law. The magnitude of the induced current is directly proportional to rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the coil. For simplicity, I can take the constant has to be 1 or unity, then you can write that has to be S. Or we can write that E is equal to, EMF E is equal to minus d pi by dt, or we can say that E is equal to minus delta pi by delta t. What this negative sign indicates, that is based on Lenz's law. That means the direction of this negative sign is based on the consequence of Lenz's law. Consequence of what, children? Lenz's law, that we will discuss in the upcoming topics. Okay. That means the direction of the induced current is always oppose the flux variation in the coil. That opposition nature only is denoted by negative sign. Okay. If there are n number of turns, if n turns are there, then the total EMF is nothing but n times of d pi by dt, or we can say that n times of delta pi by what, children? Delta t. So this is the case when n number of turns are there in the closed coil or loop. Yes. So that EMF is nothing but it's just like a potential difference only. Therefore, its unit is volt. It's what, children? Volt. Yes. But in electrostatics, we discussed that, yes, as we discussed there, this EMF or voltage. Yes, in electrostatics, we discussed potential gradient, that is electric field is equal to negative of potential gradient. Negative of what, children? Potential gradient. So from this I can write that as dV is equal to, dV is equal to minus E into dr, or in vector form we can write E dot dr. In vector form you can write what, children? E dot dr. So E dot is dr vector, or I can say that V is equal to minus of line integral. Minus of what, children? Line integral E vector dot dr vector, or in one dimension we can say that has to be dl vector. So this is the expression for what, children? Is voltage in terms of electric field. Yes. So this E is nothing but EMF voltage only. Therefore I can write that this voltage has to be line integral of the negative of line integral of E dot dl. Yes. But there is a difference between the electric field what denoted in the electrostatics and what we are going to denote in the EMI lesson. This will be, yes, called the normal electric field, whose property is completely different when compared to the induced electric field developed in the system, that we are going to discuss in the upcoming topics. But I can relate that this EMF or voltage can be written in terms of line integral of electric field. That's the point what I am trying to correlate between your yes, electrostatic concept and this one. Yes, please be cautious with the yes, content of the previous chapters. You please make it thorough of the content of the previous chapter, because there will be always a correlation. If you want to get the proper understanding of the subject, yes, you must learn the previous content where there should be a correlation or link between the topics. Yes. So the first law says what, children? The change in magnetic, whenever there is a change in magnetic flux linked with the coil or closed circuit, EMF or current will be induced in it. If it is a closed circuit, both EMF and current will exist. Open means EMF will be exist, but induced current will not be exist because of the open circuit. And the magnitude of the induced EMF is directly proportional to rate of change of magnetic flux. Here I am taking the proportionality constant as to be unity. Then I can write mod E is equal to d pi by dt. This case is instantaneous, and this will be average flux variation. Delta pi is nothing but is a final minus initial flux value, and the negative sign represents, it is based on the Lenz's law. What is that we are going to discuss? Yes. So, and the another relation is this EMF is nothing but voltage only, which can be written in terms of line integral of electric field in the system. Yes. Please note down the content, students. As we said earlier, is now we are going to continue the another topic in this lesson. Yes. Now please see that we are getting this expression, induced EMF E is equal to minus n into d pi by dt or delta pi by dt if there is a n number of turns. Yes, where E is called induced EMF or voltage. Yes, and suppose if the circuit is the closed one, then what will happen? There will be a flow of current, yes, in the circuit. That's why that current is called induced current. Therefore, the induced current expression, the expression for the induced current is I is equal to is voltage by resistance, where R is called what, children? Resistance of the is a coil or material used in the closed loop. That is nothing but, yes, this E is nothing but, for example, N is there, or we can use simply E is equal to minus d pi by dt. If there is a single term, then we can say that has to be d pi by dt. Therefore, or I can use the magnitude alone, then there is no negative sign here. Therefore, I can write this as the expression for what, children? Is induced current. Yes. The another one is expression for our relation between is induced charge and the is flux, magnetic flux, and the what, children? Magnetic flux. What is that, sir? You just take this relation, I is equal to modulus E divided by R. So this, from this we can say that I is nothing but dq by dt. So therefore dq by dt, that is equal to 1 by R into, yes, mod E is what, children? d pi by dt. Yes. Therefore d pi by dt, this gets cancelled out. Therefore I can say that induced charge is equal to 1 by resistance into induced change in flux. Okay. So this is the important relation between induced charge and the, yes, the change in flux, where R is the resistance of the circuit. Okay. So this is the, yes, another concept. And the next what we are going to discuss is an important one, that is called clock rule. That is called what, children? Clock rule. Yes. This is very important, yes, to identify the direction of the induced current, yes, based on the Lenz's law concept. What clock rule says, if you are considering a current carrying ring or a current carrying circular loop, which you are just seeing like this, if this is the side, this side is towards the observer. This side is what, children? This side is towards the observer. Now I am observing the coil like this. If the current in the coil is in anti-clockwise direction, then this facing side will act as a north pole. If it is a clockwise direction, the facing side will act as a south pole, because we know that current carrying coil behaves like a magnetic dipole. Therefore, the clock rule says that if a current is, the current sending through or passing in the coil will be anti-clockwise direction. If the current is in anti-clockwise direction, we can say that the current is in anti-clockwise direction means anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise direction means the facing side of the loop will act as a north pole. Will act as a what, children? North pole. If the current in the loop or coil will be in the clockwise direction, say this is some current I is passing through in it. So I is in clockwise direction. I is in what, children? Clockwise direction. Then we can say that that will act as a south pole. That will act as what, children? South pole of the is a magnetic dipole. So this is the very important results to identify the polarity of the the system, which when it will act as a north pole, when it act as a south pole of the magnetic system. The another one what we are going to state is very important one, that is called Lenz's law. Yes. So the Lenz's law is Lenz's law. This is the important one. The first thing, it is based on energy conservation. Yes, based on conservation of energy. Based on conservation of energy. Based on what, children? Conservation of energy. This is the first point. Yes. So what is happening? Let us assume that there is a closed loop or a circular coil or loop. Suppose let us assume that a bar magnet of polarity north pole is facing towards that. When it is moving towards it, that means I am using some external force to move the magnets towards the coil. If there is no opposition, so due to this motion, what will happen, as we discussed in the experiment 1, when there is a relative motion between the coil and the magnet, what will happen, children? Yes, flux will change, it produce the EMF. If it is a closed loop, then induced current will produce. that induced current will produce the magnetic field as we discussed. So when the flux change, the induced current will produce in the loop. That produced induced current will produce its own magnetic field. Now please see that due to the induced current, I do not know what is the direction of the induced current, but I am just taking that as to be I. When the current I is induced in the coil, and two cases I can assume. One is this induced current produces its own magnetic field, which may support the motion of the bar magnet. That means if it is north, means if this induced current which produce the magnetic field here will support the motion, means this should be a south pole, then only there will be attraction. Then what will happen? Like poles repulse and unlike poles will attract. So if it is south pole, if this coil will act as a south pole, then what will happen? There will be attraction of the magnet. That means there is no need of external agency to push the magnet towards the coil. That means the magnet will move without any external work done or without any external force. What will happen? Due to the motion, the flux will change and the electrical energy will produce. That means without any mechanical energy, we are getting the electrical energy in the system. Yes, but the law says, the conservation of energy says that if there should be a energy, means we can say, we know that in mechanics we have studied one form of energy can be converted into another, and energy neither be created nor destroyed. So but if you see that the field produced by the induced current, if it is support the motion of the magnet, then without any mechanical work done, the coil will move towards, the magnet will move towards the coil, which produce the induced current or electrical energy in the system. That means without spending of energy, we are getting the electrical energy here. So that violates the energy conservation principle. That means this will not be support the motion of the bar magnet. So what polarity it should be? There should be a repulsion. Then only the motion will not support by the flux or field produced in the loop. So now let us assume that this will act as a north pole. This will act as, you just imagine that. So the magnet is coming towards the loop. Yes, in this case, if this side will act as a north pole, then what happen? Like poles gets repel. So if I want to move the magnet further towards the loop against this magnetic repulsion, I must do some external work done. Yes, so that external work done is stored as a mechanical energy, and that will be converted as a induced current, and that will be converted as a what? As electrical energy. That means one form of energy, mechanical energy, is converted into another form, electrical energy. So what this Lenz's law says, that so now please see that if this one should act as a north pole, means the current induced in the coil should flow in the anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise what, children? Direction. This is the information as given by the Lenz's law. The direction of the induced current will flow in such a way that such a direction or in such a manner as to oppose the change of magnetic flux. To oppose the what, children? Change of magnetic flux. That opposition property, for that reason only here we are using negative sign. So this is the explanation about what, children? As the Lenz's law. Yes. Suppose what will happen if the magnet is moving away from the coil? Away from the coil. In that case, what will happen means, you just see that. So N and S, the magnet is moving away from that. So if it is moving away, means I want to resist or oppose that moving away that coil. That means I have to pull it towards me. That means there will be a attraction. So here repulsion will be there when it is moving towards, because north will be there. So if it is, attraction should exist when it is moving away from that, because if it is moving away from that, we have to oppose that motion. Yes, that means we have to attract the magnet towards us. So for that reason, if it is north pole, then it should act as a south pole of the magnet. That means the induced current produced in the coil will act as a south pole. So in what direction that induced current should go? That is go in the or flow in the as a clockwise direction. Clockwise what children? Direction. That is the very simple concept. That means the direction of the induced current will either support or oppose the motion. So in this case what happen is there will be a attraction, and that will oppose the motion of the bar magnet. It's a very simple concept. So that is based on the conservation of energy. Yes. Now please come to the in a problem point of view. So how can we understand these concepts or means? Just I can give the two idea or 2 points for this. Yes, so please it's my own idea. So therefore, if the applied flux increases, if applied magnetic flux increases, then what will happen means the induced field should oppose it, because when the applied magnetic flux increases means the induced current value will increase in the loop. So what Lenz's law says, this induced current should oppose the change in magnetic flux. So therefore, if applied magnetic flux increases, then induced current, when current is induced, it will produce its own magnetic field. Induced current, or we can say that induced magnetic field. Induced what children? Magnetic field, or B induced will oppose it. I can give the example for the better understanding, but you just keep in mind, when the applied flux or field increases, yes, that magnetic flux or field increases, then the induced current will flow in such a way that the induced field will opposite to the applied magnetic field. Suppose if the applied magnetic flux or field decreases, here I am writing pi b, we can say or we can say that B applied, or we can say that here also B applied. That is our wish. So when the applied flux or applied field decreases, then the induced current will flow in such a way that which produce its own magnetic field will support this applied field. Therefore, B induced will support it. B induced will be what children? Support means. Oppose means this applied field and the induced field will opposite direction. Support means the induced field and the applied field in the same direction. Sir, please give an example for the better understanding, sir. So let us assume that there is a inward applied magnetic field. There is a inward what children? Applied magnetic field. Yes, please understand very clearly, because many MCQ questions as well as CBSE questions are there related to that. So let us consider a triangular shape, a conductor is moving towards the towards this uniform magnetic field which is acting normally inward. So when this loop or rectangular loop, you can take anything. So we can take anything, say A, B, C, D. The sides are what children? A, B, C, D, and it is moving with velocity velocity V in the magnet. So when this closed loop is entering inside the magnet, then what will happen? The flux passing through this closed area will be increases. Closed area will be what children? Increases. What I said, when the flux, that means this is the applied field. So this is the applied field. This is the applied field, say something like B. When this coil is moving inward, the magnetic flux applied or exist will be increases within this loop. When this will increase, the induced current will flow such a way that the induced field will opposite to that. So when the applied field is normally inward, opposite to that is what? The induced field should be normally outward. If the induced field should be normally outward means you just apply the right hand thumb rule. So you just take the right hand thumb rule. Says the finger gives these things and all we discussed in chapter 4. Yes, the finger gives the current direction and the thumb will gives the magnetic field direction. So when the applied flux increases, in this case pi applied or B applied increases, the flux through the coil will be increases, flux through the coil will be, or loop will be what children, increases. So what will happen? Therefore the induced field should be opposite. Induced field should be opposite. That means if the applied field is normally inward, the induced field should be normally outward. If it is normally outward, then what direction I have to turn my fingers means that is in anti-clockwise direction. So therefore the current in the as a loop will, the induced current will flow in the anti-clockwise direction. So this is the way how to identify the direction of as induced current if it is given in Lenz law based questions. Suppose you just consider this situation. Yes, another example I am giving for the better understanding. Let us consider the same inward magnetic field will be there. Yes, now please see that. Now please see that the same rectangular loop is coming out of the field. Coming what children? Out of the field. Yes. So when this rectangular loop is coming out of the field, yes, what will happen, sir? When it is coming out from that, what will happen? The area within the magnetic field will decreases. That means the flux due to the applied field will decreases. So in this case, as a pi applied inside the loop will be what children? Decreases. When the applied field or flux decreases, what I said, the induced field should be support. Support means what? Same direction. Support means what children? Same direction. That means the induced field also should be in the normally inward direction. So again you use the right hand thumb rule. If it is normally inward, then you just rotate your right hand as a thumb rule. The finger gives the direction of current and the thumb will give the direction of magnetic field. So when the induced current is in clockwise direction, then the induced magnetic field is normally inward. Normally what children? Inward. Inward means they are support with each other, because here our applied field also normally inward and the induced field also normally inward. When the coil is moving away from the loop, that means the applied flux through the coil will decreases. So therefore here we see that B induced should be what children? Supported. Supported means what? The applied field direction, induced field should be same. So if should be normally inward means the current is in the loop will be clockwise direction by right hand thumb rule. So, okay. So this is the way how to understand and how to apply Lenz law in the case of MCQ questions or C-based related questions. Yes. So the same kind of question is there, that and all we discuss in the problem part, but these examples I have given here to get the very clear understanding about the Lenz law. Yes, please note down the theory, students. So now please see that the another part of the lesson. So just to see that, as we said, pi is equal to n number of turns are there, we can say that NBA cos theta. Yes, here we can vary as 3 parameters. We can vary what children? 3 parameters. That is by changing B value. B is changing or area A change. That is area can be changed, or what children? The angle means the position of the coil, orientation of the coil in the magnetic field, that is by rotation. Theta is change. Theta is what children? Change, that is rotation of the loop or coil. Yes. So these are the possible ways to get the flux variation. Flux variation is there, obviously what should be there? Yes, EMF and current, induced current and EMF will be there. So flux, magnetic field alone will change. That is called a static EMI. That is called what, children? Static EMI. If these related concepts are called static EMI. Static what, children? EMI. Example, self-induction, mutual induction, like that. So example for this is what, children? Self-induction. Induction concept. Simply I can say that has to be induction concept. Yes. The next one is area change. That is called dynamic EMI. Moving. Some conductor should be in motion. So therefore that is called a dynamic EMI. Dynamic what, children? EMI. That is like a moving rod or rotating rod in the magnetic field like this. Okay. So moving rod. Moving rod. That is called motional EMF. That is called what, children? Motional EMF. In the case of theta change, like a generator, AC generator or DC generator, when the armature is, coil is changing, that is called what, children? Periodic EMI. That is called what, children? Periodic EMI. Periodic what, children? EMI. So these are the things, are the methods or types to get the induced EMI or current. Okay. Now please see that the another one. The another one what we are going to discuss is the first part. This is very important in subject point of view. So first we will discuss this one. That is a concept of motional EMF. Yes. So the motional EMF, the first what we are going to do is motional EMF. That is by changing area. That is by changing area. That is area is change. Area is in what, children? Changing. Okay. This is the motional EMF. This will be what, children? Motional EMF. Okay. So now please see that. Let us consider a rectangular loop like this. Say this is something like L shape, something like this. Okay. There is a movable conductor. There will be what, children? Movable conductor. Yes. Say this has to be something like what? P, and this end is Q, R, S will be there. Okay. So this is the what, children? The information. This is the moving or a sliding conduct portion of the wire. So this this horizontal, vertical, and this horizontal segments are fixed. Over that, you just consider like this, and this is the the thing what we consider. Yes. So this is the movable conductor. Yes. So this will be the movable portion of the conductor, either inward or outward directions. Okay. Now please see that a uniform magnetic field is applied. A uniform magnetic field is what, children? Normally applied in this region. Normally applied in this what, children? Region. And this is I can take that has to be case 1. I can take this has to be what, children? Case 1. Yes. Now please see that. So let us assume that we are moving the conductor is outward direction with the velocity v, whose length is taken as to be L. Whose length is taken as to be what, children? L. So within a time dt, this movable rod PS, the movable rod in what, children? PS is moved through a small distance dx. It's moved through the small distance what, children? Dx. That is shown in the dotted point. Okay. Yes. So this is direction of v. Now this movable conductor is shifted outward directions through a small distance what, children? Dx. Through a small distance what, children? Dx. Okay. Within a time dt. So in this case, the change in area. So therefore we just see that the change in area is a change in area. Area enclosed by this. Enclosed means this portion only. The not outside of this this movable rod. You please try to understand what is the enclosed area means. You just see that here it will be like this. This area you need not to be considered because it is not a closed loop, but this will be a closed one. This area you have to be considered as to be an enclosed area. So therefore, when it is moving from this portion to this portion, the area enclosed by the magnetic field will change. That means the area change. So dA. So therefore, dA that is equal to what, children? length into breadth. So length into breadth, change in area. Yes, okay, yes. Now please see that you just divided by time as a dt, because it takes some time dt to travel the distance dx. So therefore I can say that dA by dt, that is equal to L into dx by dt. L into what, children? Dx by dt. Okay, yes, or I can, this is the expression. We know that by the definition, yes, what is Faraday's law says? EMF is equal to minus d pi by dt. D pi by what, children? Dt. So here pi has to be yes b into a, cos theta is 1, yes. So therefore, yes, that is equal to, yes, b is uniform magnetic field is applied, it is taken out as a constant. Therefore minus b into dA by dt, minus b into what, children? dA by dt, and this is nothing but a change in position with respect to time, that is nothing but velocity of the motion. So therefore now you substitute yes this value dA by dt value here. Therefore I can say that E is equal to minus b L into V, minus b L into what, children? V. So this is the expression for motional EMF whenever a conducting rod is moving as either outward or inward. As we said, if the outward motion, the flux will be increases. If it is moving inward direction, the flux will gets decreases because decrease in area. Yes. So in this situation, what will happen? The direction of the current, induced current, may gets reversed. So since it is a closed loop, what will happen? The induced current will flow. So how to find the direction of the induced current? Actually, the Lenz law will give the yes any arbitrary shape of the conductor. Lenz law will give, but here specifically we can say that Fleming's right hand rule. Fleming's what, children? Right hand rule. So Fleming is right hand rule. Yes, this is the simply call it as the generator rule also. In the chapter 4, there we discussed in Lorentz force concept, there we discussed Fleming left hand rule. Now this is what, children? Fleming right hand rule. So the forefinger represents the magnetic field and thumb finger represents the direction of motion or direction of the force applied, and the middle finger gives the direction of the induced current. So for example, in this case, since the magnetic field is normally inward, I can keep my right hand, this finger, forefinger is normally inward, and the conductor is moving right side. Therefore, I can turn my finger to such that my thumb is towards the right. Then what my middle finger points? It is points from S to P. It is points from what, children? S to P. That means the current is going from S to P. So S to P via this PQ and via this RS, it will go like this. That means in anti-clockwise direction. Okay. So what the Fleming right hand rule says or gives the information means, that is a forefinger. Yes, a forefinger what, children? Magnetic field direction. Magnetic field direction, and middle finger is what, children? Sorry, forefinger is magnetic field and thumb finger is either velocity direction or motion of the conductor, direction of motion of the conductor. Yes. Then what will happen? The middle finger represents the direction of the induced current, direction of the what, children? Induced current. Okay, so that is the information about Fleming right hand rule to find out the direction of the induced current in case of this moving as a rod or in motional EMF cases. And the another one, second one, what we are is in the same thing we can say that as we discussed earlier, what is the induced current expression in this case? I is equal to mod E divided by resistance, the total resistance of this portion of the system. Therefore, that can be written as BLV divided by what, children? R. So this is the induced current in this system. Okay, children. Yes. Now I am going to discuss the case 2 of the motional EMF. So here there will be a translational motion, linear motion of the conductor. But at the fixed axis, this rod may be rotate like this. Okay, so it may rotate like this. Such type of case also belongs to motional EMF. That means as a rotation of the rod or conductor, rotation of the as a conducting rod or simply a conductor, conducting rod or a conductor. Yes. So let us assume that yes, this is the uniform yes magnetic field exists either, for example, take that has to be normally inward direction. Then what happen means in this, let us consider there is a yes there is a rod of length L. There is a rod of length L yes which is rotating about the point O. So this is the axis of rotation perpendicular to the plane of the board, and the rod is rotating in is what children is for example anti-clockwise direction with angular velocity omega. Okay, then this is the is an imaginary circular part. This will what children imaginary circle. The radius of the circle is equal to what children length of the rod. Therefore here the radius is equal to length of the conductor, length of the what children conductor. So in this case, whenever the rod is changes its position from one point to as another point, as there will be a change in area. There will be what children change in area. So therefore I can say that just see that here we know that the general definition for flux is what children is pi is equal to B into A. Yes, pi is equal to B into A. So area vector is outward and the magnetic field is normally inward direction. Therefore a cos value will be magnitude wise cos value will be +1 only. Therefore no need to worry about the cos theta. So pi is equal to B into A. Therefore mod E, that is nothing but what children d pi by dt, that is nothing but what children. Yes, since there is a uniform applied magnetic field, so B is constant here, so B is taken outside of the formula, so B outside dA by dt, dA by what children dt. We know that it is rotating with the uniform angular velocity. Therefore by the concept of elemental ratio, dA by dt, that is equal to A by t. That is equal to what children? A by t. That means time taken to make the change in area dA with the small interval of time dt is same as to be total area. Total area, and we know that what is time period? Time taken for complete one rotation. Yes, that we know that this is area of the total path covered by the conducting rod. Yes. Now 1 by t is nothing but frequency. Therefore area into frequency of rotation or frequency of revolution of the conductor. So also we know that angular frequency equal to what children? Is 2 pi f. Angular frequency is what children? 2 pi f. So therefore I can say that f is equal to omega by 2 pi. F is equal to omega by what children? 2 pi. Substitute over there, then we can get so dA by dt, or that is equal to A by dt, that is equal to A into F is what children? A is nothing but what? The total enclosed area. What is that? Pi r square. Instead of radius r, what is there? The radius of the circular path is equivalent to length of the rod. So I can take that as to be L here. Therefore the radius is pi r square, but r is equal to what children? L. Therefore pi L square into what is F? Area as written here. F is what? Omega by 2 pi. Therefore pi gets cancelled out. Therefore I can get that dA by dt, that is equal to what children? L square omega divided by 2. Yes. So take this value and substitute over there. So substitute over there, I can get that the magnitude of the induced EMF in the rotating rod, that is equal to what children? Of 1 by 2 is there. Of B is there. B omega L square, of B omega what children? L square. But in some books, instead of this L length of the rod, they may have given us to be radius capital R or smaller. But anyway, that is our choice. So this is of B into omega into L square, where L is nothing but the length of the rod, which is equivalent to radius of this circular path taken by this movable rod. So these are the two important expressions. One is BLV, and or if you are writing in magnitude form, then no need to put the sign for this. So we can write in the magnitude form, mod E is equal to what children? BLV. So mod V equal to what, children? BLV. So this is one expression for motional EMF, and this is for translational motion, and this is for rotational motion. But here one important concept is there. Just to see that in this diagram is even though the teacher is not telling, as a good student you must understand. Just to see the situation, magnetic field is normally inward. So the length of the rod is like this, magnetic field is normally inward. That means L and B are perpendicular. Yes. And second point, L is like this, velocity is in horizontal direction. That means L and V are perpendicular. Yes. L and B. Yes, you just see that LB are perpendicular with each other. LV are perpendicular with each other. And another one is what? Velocity is in horizontal direction and magnetic field is normally inward. So B and V also perpendicular with also B and velocity. Magnetic field and velocity also what, children? Perpendicular with each other. That means if you want to get the motional EMF in the case of translation or rotations, all these three are mutually perpendicular. That is B, L, V, all three should be what, children? Mutually perpendicular. This is the essential condition to check whether the induced EMF will exist or not. How, sir? JM sir, how can we understand this one, sir? Means you just see that in the previous lesson when we discussed the chapter 5, we said that the direction of the BH is normally along the geographical north-south direction, and vertical field will, that BV will act in vertical directions. So for example, let us assume that in this case I am dropping the conductor. In the earth magnetic field like this. The rod is towards the north-south direction and I am dropping either down or upward direction. So throwing upward is a dropping downward. In this case, we may think that the rod is moving down, which crosses the magnetic field lines of the earth. Therefore, we can get the induced EMF. But we have to check these conditions. Now please see that when the rod is falling down like this along the north-south direction, in this case length and the magnetic field are parallel with each other. So even though one is perpendicular, the remaining will be what, children? Not the remaining conditions are not satisfied. All three should satisfy together. So in this case, when the rod is falling vertically downward towards the north-south direction, the BH, the horizontal component of earth magnetic field, and the velocity vector, length are parallel with each other. Therefore, this condition is not satisfied. L and B are not perpendicular, so there is no induced EMF. But what about in the case of vertical components, sir? When you consider the vertical component, this is the L and this is the vertical component. L and B may be perpendicular, but you see that this is the velocity direction and this is the B vector direction. That is, B and V are not perpendicular. So this condition is not valid. So whenever a conductor is dropped along whose length is along the geographic north-south direction, even though it cuts the magnetic field lines of the earth, there is no possibility for what, children? Induced EMF, because all these three conditions should be satisfied simultaneously. Then only we can say the what, children? The possibility for existence of the motional EMF. So this is the information about motional EMF. Kindly note down the theory, students. We are going to discuss the origin of this motional EMF. Yes. So let us assume that the first one is the force acting on the conductor. Force acting on the conductor. We know that whenever a current carrying conductor placed in the magnetic field, it experiences the force. F is equal to BAL sin theta. Here is you just consider the diagram. Yes. For your better understanding, it is the applied magnetic field normally inward direction, and this is the movable rod which is moving like this. This is L. Okay. So what is F is equal to BAL sin theta? BAL sin theta. Theta means what? Angle between current element and the magnetic field. So the current is going in this direction, and say this is P, S, Q, R, S. The current is going in this direction. Suppose the rod is going outward. Then what happened? The magnetic field is inward and the current is perpendicular to that. Therefore, sin theta value is 1. Therefore, I can say that in this case, F is equal to what, children? BIL, or B into this I is nothing but induced current in the system. So, induced current expression is what? EMF. EMF by resistance. EMF by what, children? Resistance. This may have some resistance. Don't confuse with this representation. This R represents resistance. And don't confuse with this indication with the physical quantity. Okay. Now please see that F is equal to B into this E is what? Just now we derived BLV. E is what, children? BLV into L is that. Yes. Okay. Now please see that we can say that B square L square V divided by R. This is what, children? The force acting on the movable rod is due to the external applied field. Okay. Yes, this is the force equation. And another one is, in order to move this, how much amount of mechanical energy is used? Because we only, the external agency only will move the rod either inward or outward direction. So this is the force we need, the external force we need to move the rod. Then how much mechanical power is spent by the external agency is to move the rod? Means we know that mechanical power is power. The next one is power. So the power P, that is what, children? Generally power is equal to what? F into V. Power is equal to what, children? F dot V or Fe cos theta. Here cos theta will be 1 because the force and the velocity are in the same direction as mechanical. Because if you want to find out the direction of the force, you just use the Fleming left hand rule. As current is like this, field is inward, current is like this. So in this case, either the velocity and the force may be either theta has to be 180 degree or 0 degree. Anyway, the magnitude will be a plus 1 only. Therefore, I can plus 1 only. Therefore, Fe, the cos theta magnitude will be plus 1 in this case. Okay. Therefore, this F is there. Just to substitute this F. Therefore, B square L square V divided by what, children? R into V. R, therefore, power P is equal to B square L square V square divided by R. Again, I am telling that this is resistance. Okay. So this is the power generated. This is the mechanical power which will be equal to the, what is that called? Electrical power. Yes, we know that formula for electrical power we are already discussed in. Yes, current electricity P is equal to what, children? I square R. P equal to what, children? I square R, that is equal to V square by R. Voltage by resistance. Here voltage is nothing but EMF. Voltage is nothing but what, children? EMF. This much mechanical power only will converted into the electrical energy. This much mechanical external force is needed to move this is the force developed due to the system. That means due to the presence of magnetic field. So the external force should be same as to be the magnitude of this one in order to move the conductor. So these are the information about the motional EMF. The another one is we are going to discuss in what basis, how simply the moving rod will produce the EMF means we may ask some question, how it is originate. So that will be explained in terms of Lorentz force. So origin of motional EMF. Origin of what, children? Motional EMF. Yes. So that is the last topic in the motional EMF. So let us consider as there is a inward magnetic field. There is a what, children? Inward magnetic field. A conductor of length L. Yes. So this length has to be what, children? L. The conductor of length L is moving with some velocity v. Let us consider Q be the charge in the moving conductor. Let us consider Q will be the charges in the moving conductor, because all the materials are made up of charges. Okay. Now please see that. So this is some charge Q is there. This is some charge Q. So whenever it is moving in the applied magnetic field, then what will happen? This charge will experience the magnetic Lorentz force. F is equal to BQV sin theta. Here V as a V and B are perpendicular, so sin theta value is 1. Therefore, I can say that the magnetic Lorentz force acts on this charge is given by F is equal to what, children? BQV, equation number 1. BQV, equation number is what, children? 1. Yes. And another one is, so because of this force, what will happen? You just see that, this is the positive. Say for example, the charge is Q. The magnetic field is inward, and the velocity direction is in this direction. Okay. So what will happen? The force, just apply the Fleming left hand rule to find out the direction of the force acting on the charge. Yes. So this is the direction of motion of the conductor. That means direction of the motion of the charge. Because when conductor is moving, the charges inside also will move with the same velocity. If I am walking, then the velocity of the mic is same as to be my velocity, because it is a part of the system. So similarly, so this just apply the Fleming left hand rule. So middle finger direction of the current, or this direction of motion of the positive charge, and this is the magnetic field direction, this is the force. So due to this magnetic Lorentz force, the charge will move towards the upper end. Charges will move towards the what, children? Upper end. So yes, because of that reason, what will happen means, yes, you just see that, yes, mostly in conductor, the charges are what, children? Yes, free electrons only. Free electrons. Okay. So positive charge means the force is upward direction. Negative charge means what, children? The direction of force will be just gets reversed. That's all. Therefore, I can say that here this has to be F is equal to B. Instead of Q, I can write the charge of the electron as V. Small e is charge of electron. So for positive charge, the force is upward. As we discussed in the Lorentz force, when sign of the charge gets reversed, the direction of force also gets reversed. Therefore, now this electron in the free conductor will experience the downward force. Because of that, this end will, all the electrons will come and accumulate at one end. Then what will happen? Here all the negative charges are accumulated here. Then what will happen? There will be all positive ions will be there. Okay. Which in turn produces some induced electric field. So this is the direction of the induced electric field. So whenever the charges are separated, it produces some internal induced electric field. Induced electric field. So we know that whenever charges are placed in the external electric field, they experience the force of E vector. F is equal to what, children? E vector. So at the equilibrium, what will happen means the force due to the magnetic field and the force due to the electric field. This is called a induced electric field. Induced what, children? Electric field. So that you just equate this, we can get that as E induced, that is equal to what, children? B into V. Yes. Here the induced EMF is electric field. This is the induced electric field. Now what I am going to discuss is, we know that in electrostatics, electric field is nothing but, magnitude wise, electric field is nothing but voltage V by X or V by D, that is potential gradient. So here also this equation number 2. So just equate 1 and these two equations. For your understanding, just equate, so you may get the clear idea. Even I said in words, you may get some confusion. So at equilibrium we can say that they are equal. So therefore E induced that is a force due to the electric field, is same as to be force due to the magnetic field BeV. Okay, so gets cancelled out. Then what I am getting, children? Yes, induced electric field, that is equal to B into V. Say equation number 2. As per from the electrostatics, we know that electric field equal to potential gradient. Here the induced potential is nothing but EMF. Induced potential is nothing but, induced EMF is nothing but, we are denoted by E. So therefore electric field is nothing but voltage by distance. Here same as to be electric field is, induced electric field is nothing but induced EMF divided by distance. Distance moved by the charge is nothing but L. Therefore L, that is equal to what, children? B into V, or I can say that E is equal to, yes, B into L into V. So in this manner we can explain how the motional EMF is originated in the movable conductor due to the, yes, Lorentz force and the force due to the induced electric field. Okay, students, so this is the information about, yes, what is that called, motional, complete information about motional EMF. The another small concept is there. So that is, many rules are there. You please be careful when and where we have to be apply that. So this is right hand palm rule. Right hand is a palm rule. For what, children? To find the polarity of, to find polarity of induced EMF. To find the polarity of what, children? Induced EMF. So how to find the polarity of induced EMF means, yes, so now you please see that you just take this right hand palm rule. So this palm represents the direction of the magnetic field, the finger represents this finger represents the direction of motion, the thumb will gives the positive end. For example, here you just see that, yes, the rod is moving towards right. So field is normally inward. Therefore the palm represents, right hand palm represents what, children? Magnetic field. So just keep your hand, magnetic field. The finger gives the direction of velocity. So you just keep your hand like this. Then my thumb points the end P. That means the end P will act as a positive terminal. End P will act as what, children? Positive terminal. Therefore for this system, yes, so PQ, this will be R, P, Q, R, S. In this case, if it is going outward and the field is normally inward, the field is what, children? Normally inward. In this situation, what will happen means, just apply right hand as thumb rule, sorry, palm rule. We can say that the end P will act as the positive terminal of the battery. So this is, will be like this. So this is plus and minus, whose magnitude of the EMF is what, children? BLV. Whose magnitude of the EMF is what, children? BLV. So this law is, this rule is very helpful to find out the, yes, direction of the, yes, polarity of the rule. So polarity of the induced EMF in the, yes, motional EMF system. Yes. So these are the complete information about what, children? Yes, your motional EMF topic. Yes, for your yes, CBSE point of view, I did derivation, and the important results, concept as well as the results are important for your MCQ discussion. Okay, so kindly watch the video with, yes, every day we are updating the videos in different chapters. You just yes, see the video lectures and make it a use of that, and if you can give your yes, comments to upgrade as ourselves. Yes, thank you, students.